Okay, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, how's everybody doing? Okay, good. My name is Anthony Fletcher. I'll be your presenter for today. And today, just want to let you guys know a little bit something about myself. My name is Anthony Fletcher. I was born in San Diego, California. After 18 years, played football for a little while at a junior college. Then after that, I joined the military in 1984. I did 21 years and some change. My last 10 years, I did those last 10 years in food service. So I have 10 years of food service experience from the military. Retired from the military in 2004. Got out, came to Fort Worth, and then from there started working in child nutrition. So I've been pretty much working child nutrition since 2005 when I became official, when school started in 2005, and then of course from 2005 to here we are now in 2019. So I've been in the business for pretty much close to 14 years. It's been great. Had a lot of experience with it. In 2010, I went back to school and got my associate's degree from Conner Community College, and currently at this moment now, I am in the process of obtaining my bachelor's degree from UNT. We have anybody that went to UNT out there?
Woo woo!
It's good to have at least one or two of you guys. Great. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is new hire orientation for cashier training. Most of you guys probably never heard of cashier training or new hire orientation dealing with child nutrition. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what does it take or what is the requirements to be a cashier for Frisco ISD. And so one of the things that we're going to be going over is our overview. We're going to be discussing is what is the National School Lunch Program and what is the school breakfast program. Does anybody have any idea exactly what these programs are for?
No, not exactly.
Okay, so what it is basically the National School Lunch Program came into existence after World War II, and pretty much what's going on is we had a lot of people that after the war or during that war where we were just really underweight and not really nutrition as much as per se our counterpartners as Germans were. And so what happened is Roosevelt basically came up with the National School Lunch Program, which basically made sure that our kids receive a nutritional meal every day. And of course, if you're eating every day, you're very nutritious, your body weight and all those things are going to come into play. And so that's the reason why we enacted it. And also we're going to talk about the role of what is the cashier's role once you guys are out in the schools. And then of course, the face of the district, and we really want you guys to be happy, inviting, and make sure that our students come back for meals again. So always want to make sure that you have smiles on your face and that you are very welcoming to our customers. Okay, offer versus serve. So can anybody tell me in their own words what they feel offer versus serve is?
Offer is when you ask someone do they want something, and serving is just bringing it to them. I don't know.
Good, good. So basically what you have is the choice of offer versus serve is basically offer versus serve is strictly the child's decision. So if the student doesn't want a particular food item, they don't have to partake in it. And so what we're looking at now is for Frisco ISD, we always offer 3 options for them. One of them must be a vegetarian option, of course. Another one's a meat option. And then, of course, they also have an option of just obtaining a salad bar and some bread. Okay, there are some stipulations that go along with that, but those are basically your options. And also, too, we kind of like don't encourage the parents to get too involved with this process because we really like it when the parents basically are there guiding and teaching their children how to do the meal process or how to get a meal, vice a parent that's coming and getting and grabbing everything for the student, and therefore that is a enabler. So it doesn't allow the student to have growth in determining what is a quality meal and how to select those meals. So of course we don't want you to walk up to a parent and say you can't help, but we just kind of would like for you guys to kind of just say, you know, next time you have to wait until your student is in the line before you can help them with their meal. One of the things that the keynote things that it does is it also reduces waste. So if you don't have a student that's being forced a meal, then of course it makes it a lot more less wasteful. And so we did a study, a research last year, And we found out that kids now at this point in time have to have a reimbursable meal by obtaining a fruit or a vegetable. And what we found out in a lot of situations that the students were almost throwing away most of the food. So what we've done is we've added more options for fruits and vegetables for our students, and then also too, it reduces the waste. So these are things that allow that would happen. So you may want to ask, what is a reimbursable meal? A reimbursable meal consists of 5 components. Those components are, everybody say it together, meat,
vegetables,
fruits,
fruit,
grain, and fluids. So we have on here our poster card right here. You can see here, you can kind of look at it more so throughout the day, and as the training continues on to understand. Now you have to have a minimum of 3 of these components, and one of them must be a fruit or a vegetable. So you can have 3 of these components. You can have meat alternate. Can anybody tell me what they think a meat alternative is?
Maybe soy meat?
No. Basically, a meat alternative would be like if we was to have macaroni and cheese. Even though we have pasta, and even though you have the cheese would be considered and menued as a meat alternative. Also, if we was to have beans on the menu for a vegetarian, the dietitian here can also designate those beans to be a meat alternative. So therefore, in this situation here, this is what a meat alternative is. Now, fruit also has another option that you can have, which is basically 100% juice 4.23 would be considered a juice alternative. And then also too, we also have marinara that is also considered a vegetable alternative, and it is all vegetables, but because we have those tomatoes in there, it constitutes as a vegetable alternative. So basically what you have, we have the 5 components. You have to have a minimum of 3 to be considered a meal. You don't have to receive all 5. So if I came to the line and I decided I only wanted to get, let's say here, so I have macaroni and cheese. So the macaroni and cheese, you're going to have the pasta, which constitutes the grain, and you have the cheese, which is going to constitute your meat alternative, and then you have your milk, and then you have your vegetable, and so there you have 1, 2 components here, 3, and then 4. But if the student did not want to get the milk, would this still be considered a meal?
No, they need a drink.
Who thinks yes? Okay, and then no? Okay, good. So basically, the yes have it. So we need a minimum of 3 components. So the pasta and the meat is how many components?
2.
2. And then the fruit is a component, and that's 3 components. So if a student came to the line and came here and received both these items, this would be considered a reimbursable meal, and you would be okay. The student would be okay to do that. So it's not necessarily we iron out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or listen and miss a drink. I know it's easy because as a parent, you figure like you have to have something to drink. You have to have meat. You have to have those items there. But of course, you don't necessarily have to have those things for it to constitute as a lunch. So we break it down again. A part meal consists of a minimum of 3 components, and those 3 components are meat alternate, fruit, vegetables, grain, and milk. Right? You have to have a minimum of 3, so you can have fruit, they can have vegetables, and they can have milk. So if I came to the line, would this be considered a lunch?
Yeah.
Looks kind of skimpy, right? But let's count them out. Grain, 1 component. Milk, 2 components. Fruit, 3 components. Is that a meal?
Yes.
That is a meal. So just kind of get your eyes used to this and kind of get your eyes off of when you figure a meal has to serve all its components. And of course, we talked about it before. You have your grain, your fruit, your vegetable, your milk. And a power meal, also, if you have your juice, it will be considered as a grain, right? As a fruit or as a fruit, okay? Now, a student is not required to get a milk. They do not have to get a milk as long as they have to. The only thing they have to get is a what?
Was it fruit?
Fruit or vegetable, right? They have to have a fruit, they have to have a vegetable, and also too, to bring out, is no restrictions on the fruit and vegetable here in Frisco ISD. If a student wanted to get 5 apples, they can get 5 apples. It's no charge, they only have to pay for it if they didn't get a meal. So here, a la carte pricing only applies to seconds on the fruit. Basically, if a student came back and got a meal the first time around, they came and they got a meal, it would be fine. If they came back to the line after they've come through there and said, you know what, I'm going to get an apple and a banana, this will come as no charge. They can come get it, put their number in, and then we'll simply just charge it up as a free fruit and vegetable key. So this is something to keep in mind. However, students will be charged a la carte. So if a student doesn't meet the requirement, if they came to the line and they got a Smart Mouth pizza, you'll see this at the middle school and high school. If they got a Smart Mouth pizza, how many components is a Smart Mouth pizza?
Is that maybe 3?
Two components. So you're going to have the grain, which is the crust, and then you're going to have the cheese, and the cheese is a meat alternative. In order for this to constitute for a meal, if the student said, you know, this is all I want, and I'm going to get this in the juice, guess what? This would not constitute as a reimbursable meal, and because this juice is not part of it, the student would have to be returned back to the line by the cashiers to obtain a fruit or a vegetable. They can either get an apple or they can get a fruit, and then they're fine. That will be a meal.
So the sauce is not considered a vegetable?
It's not enough sauce to constitute a vegetable. Okay?
Got it.
Now, cashiers should encourage the students to take a meal, as we talked about. Cashiers should always encourage the students to get those meals. And if they have to send them back to the line to get the fruit. Now here, the student has an option, and we'll break this thing down. So basically, if a student came and got meat, let's say they came and got some chicken, and then they came and got vegetables, they got the grain, and they got the milk, all they need is a fruit. That would be a meal. If they only got 2 components, say those 2 components are the meat and the grain, they only need to get a fruit. And if they didn't get their meat and they only wanted to get 1, 2, 3, so they got 1 grain, they got a milk, and then we got a fruit, we're good. Okay? So, what we'd like to talk about at this point in time now. So, one of the things that we need to talk about is cashiers must maintain a positive attitude towards students and faculty. They're one of the things. So basically, once you've gone through the whole process of being a cashier, now at this particular point in time now, you have to maintain a positive attitude and be the face of the district. Right? You are the face. So let's review. Change fund. We want to make sure that we're always starting up our change with the amount of money that we're supposed to have. And also, too, we want to make sure that you always have a person there to witness it. What is a power mill? You have to always remember power mills can be shifted in different directions. Also, to account restrictions and allergies, you have to be responsible for that. When those restrictions pop up on a student's account, you have to make sure that we're guiding them in the right direction. And also, too, make sure that we understand that the cashier's manual is always going to be on your desktop. When you get to your campus site, you will find them on your desktop. When you plug in your monitor, you'll be at that particular point. And then when you got a new student, how are we going to ring that new student up? We're going to make sure that we're going to ask them what their name is. We're not going to tell them what their name is. And we'll let them give us the answer to that. And then, of course, that way there we make sure that we're doing everything good. And then students with no pictures want to make sure that we ID that as well. So, I want to thank you guys for coming out and being part of Child Nutrition. And remember, when you guys are going out to your campus sites and going out and meeting and greeting our customers, that you guys present yourself in a positive attitude. And we're going to make sure that we have an excellent year and we have a great time. Thank you for your attention. Have a good one.